Today's video is going to be a community video to try to hunt for more FPS in certain sim racing titles. I was doing a Assetto Corsa Evo 0.7 stream to check out some of the DLSS presets to get more performance and also get better image quality. I was recommended by somebody on the chat to deactivate HAGS, which is something sometimes needed for those of you who are on VR with certain titles. Essentially what HAGS does is offload some of the load of your CPU and put it on the GPU, in theory making it snappier and making it with less latency. A bit of background of my system: I use a 9800X3D with the 4070. Generally I'm okay with most things, though it is a very old Windows installation, and HAGS has a problem, namely with the updates, that every so often Microsoft breaks the updates, and apparently it could be an issue with some of us that have older installations, and I suppose I was one of these people. A lot of people report increase of FPS when turning off HAGS, and I went actually to try it. In comparison, when I was recommended to try it out, I tried it out offline. My FPS was actually pretty much okay with ultra quality DLSS with preset K at around 140 FPS. More or less, I was very happy with the increase in performance of Assetto Corsa Evo. I turned it off HAGS and I gained immediately between 20 to 30 FPS, which is something quite significant, to the point I was able to start to use DLA as my main method of anti-aliasing, which is something that had never happened before. Now, here's the interesting part. Once I reinstalled or put HAGS back, because you do need HAGS for frame gen in some titles, actually in all titles, I gained or lost 0 FPS. So here's my first recommendation. If you have a system that has an older installation of Windows 10 or Windows 11, make sure that you turn it off and then turn it back on and check out what happens next. I've actually tried to do some sort of benchmarking with MSI Afterburner with Assetto Corsa Evo in the Luma Ultimate, and I find out that the performance isn't very much different now between all of them, but for me the system is definitely more snappy. In front of you, I have the results of benchmarks with HAGS and no HAGS, and the performance difference is basically now negligible once I've actually activated and deactivated HAGS. And it's basically just 1 or 2 FPS, which you can say it's within margin of error, depending on where I started to record the benchmark, which makes no difference whatsoever. It's the case with LMU. Now, with the Assetto Corsa Rally, I also figured out that the system feels more snappy with it. I've always had some performance issues with it, and after turning off HAGS and then turning HAGS back on, it feels like a new game for me. So a lot of the issues that I've been having towards Assetto Corsa Rally in terms of performance, and also Assetto Corsa Evo in the past, to be fair, it's likely related to some sort of Windows installation problem regarding with hardware acceleration, that after basically removing and installing again or connecting and disconnecting that feature could make a huge difference, or did make a huge difference to me. Now, for those of you who are on VR, I would actually ask you to check it out without HAGS, because it has been recommended by a lot of people, not in sim racing actually, to disconnect HAGS and when you're using with VR. Since Assetto Corsa Evo at this moment doesn't use any frame gen, at least as far as I know, there's really no reason whatsoever not to have it off, just to try it out. So that recommendation from the user was actually quite interesting, just to turn it on and turn it off. It actually freed a lot of performance with some titles. It didn't do anything on others. For the Le Mans Ultimate, it did exactly the same thing, maybe 1 or 2 FPS, but that's about it. And also, outside of sim racing, it didn't do a thing, in my opinion, with Gray Zone Warfare, which I play quite a lot of it. But in Assetto Corsa Evo and Assetto Corsa Rally, it did something. In a regular Assetto Corsa, it did nothing as well. In iRacing, it seems to be more or less the same too. But I do need your help, hence I'm saying this should be a community video. Check out, try it out with HAGS, no HAGS, VR, no VR, doesn't matter. Tell me below if you saw any difference, what type of PC you have, what type of screen you have, or if you're using triple, single, or VR. Maybe there's something there, and also which games you have tried. Hopefully this video helps somebody out.